Good morning, students. As we have started with the 10th standard science, chemistry chapter, metals and the non-metals. In our previous video, we have started with the extraction of our metals. For the extraction of the metals, we have seen that metals are with a different reactivity. Like we are dividing the metals with a less reactive, moderately reactive, and few are very high reactive. So in the previous class we have checked the reactivity series and we understood which type of the metal reacts fast, less, what is their nature we have understood. So let us continue with the extraction of the metals. In that, today let us discuss with the enrichment of the ores. Already in the previous class we have discussed what is the meaning of ores and all. So let us study enrichment of the ores. Ores, from where you are getting, students? You are getting it from the Earth's crust. Okay? So as you take the ores are along with so many impurities. The impurities like it may be the sand, it may be the soil, other type of metals, we'll call it as siliceous compounds. So many things will be there along with the ores. So all these we will consider as the impurities, and these impurities will call them as the gangue. What is gangue, students? The ores which we have extracted, which we have taken from the Earth's crust is along with so many impurities, and that along with impurities the ore is called as the gangue. Now what is the extraction of metals? You have to remove this gangue from the ore. Right, students? Okay. As you take the ores from the Earth's crust, first what you have to do? They will be in the form of very huge quantity. Okay, it will be like a big lump. So you have to make it into small pieces. With the help of the machines like a crushers, they will make them into small pieces first. After making them into the small pieces, then you have to make it into the fine powder. Right? With the help of some mills, we have to make it like a fine powder. So what your fine powder consists of? It consists of the gangue. What is our intention? We want to remove the gangue. If you remove the gangue, nothing but that is the first step of your extraction of the metals. Right? Okay. How to remove this gangue? The gangue might be different types of metals, non-metals, or it may be the sand, soil, so many things are there, students. So we will see what is the nature of the ore. Okay, what is the nature of the gangue? So based on the physical and chemical properties of the gangue, we will remove the gangue by adding the substances. Means what type of substance we have to add? You have to see what type of gangue it is. Okay, so based on the physical property, chemical property of the gangue and ore, we will try to remove the gangue from the ore. Not only this, students, we have to see what is the activity, reactivity of the metals also we have to check. Because just in the previous class we have discussed, the metals all are not with the same reactivity, they are all with a different reactivity state. So what is the state of that metal we should come to know, then you can treat it. So based on all these factors we have to decide, and then we have to go for enrichment of the ores. Right, students, hope you are understanding? Yes. So first we'll start with the metals which are under low reactivity, means which are very less reactive. Such type of metals if are there, how to extract, will start from there. Okay, take down the heading. Friends, extracting metals low in their activity series. So first let us start with the low activity series metals. So if you start like this, gold, silver, platinum, so these are all very less reactive and we will get them in their native form. They are not along with some other metals and non-metals. Only the impurities will be there that you have to remove easily. Right, students? So these are in the native form. If it is gold, silver, platinum, there is no much more effort about the extraction, no problem. Fine. But if you take the metals like copper, mercury, these are not so less reactive, moderately reactive we can say. So if it is a matter of copper, mercury and all, they are along with some other metals and non-metals. Right? So copper, it is available in the form of Cu2S, cupric sulfide. Means along with sulfur you will get it. Okay, now the extraction means you have to separate the sulfur from the copper so that you can get the metallic form of copper. Okay, the Cu2S name is copper glans. It's called as copper glans. Mercury is in the form of HgS, mercuric sulfide. And this ore name is cinnabar. The ore name is cinnabar. Means in both the cases, you have to separate the sulfur from these metals. So that is nothing but we can say as the extraction of the copper or it may be the mercury. How to separate the sulfur from mercury and sulfur? You have to heat these ores, okay, in presence of air so that you can remove. You have to heat the ores in presence of air, nothing but by supplying the oxygen and you can remove. Right? Yes. So mercuric sulfide, HgS, when it is heated in presence of oxygen, okay, so what happens? We are going to get HgO, mercuric oxide, with the liberation of sulfur dioxide. Mercuric oxide with the liberation of sulfur dioxide. Check the equation, students. Whenever you write the equation, first you have to check whether it is balanced or not. Okay, 2 2s are 4, 4 plus 2 6, 3 2s are 6. Is it balanced? Yes. Now, this mercuric oxide further reacts with the oxygen, further it reacts so that you can get the mercury with the liberation of oxygen. Right, students? Take down the equation. So mercuric sulfide, when you heat it in presence of air, you are getting the mercuric oxide. The reaction will be continued in that furnace. As the heating process is continued, you are getting the mercury with the liberation of oxygen. Next, took equation. Cuprous sulfide. Cuprous sulfide, when it is heated in presence of oxygen, what you are getting? Cuprous oxide, Cu2O plus sulfur dioxide. But same thing, students, this cuprous oxide can you able to see if I write it here? Okay. This cuprous oxide further it reacts Equation not balanced, students. Balance the equation. Sulfur, oxygen 2, oxygen 2 plus 1, 3. Here copper 2. Just check out and balance the equation yourself. Cuprous sulfide reacts with, when it is heated in presence of air, it will convert into cupric oxide. The cupric oxide further it reacts with the cuprous sulfide so that you can get the copper with the liberation of sulfur dioxide. Right, students? So, like this, we can separate the whatever the metals, non-metals are there along with the metals, that is in the no reactivity series. Take down the equations. Next, extracting the metals in the middle of the activity series. Just now we have seen the low. Okay, middle of the activity series. Which are all the metals comes? It may be the zinc, iron, it may be the chromium, nickel, cobalt, lead. These are all comes under middle of the activity series. So these middle of the activity series metals, they may be in the form of sulfides. Can I write it here only? Maybe in the nature of sulfides or maybe in the nature of carbonates. Maybe as the nature of sulfides or in the nature of carbonates. Yes. Okay. Now we have to reduce these sulfide forms and the carbonate forms. Okay. If you convert these metals first to the metallic oxide forms, metallic oxide to metal is very easy, students. So first what we have to do, we have to convert these sulfides and carbonates into oxide forms. Okay. So sulfides and carbonates can be converted into metal oxide forms by two methods called as roasting and a calcination. One is roasting and another one is calcination. What is the difference between roasting and calcination? In both, we are going to heat the metal, students, which is in the combined form, no? That we are going to heat. But what is the difference means? In the roasting, we are going to heat it with excess of air. We are going to heat it with the excess of air. Okay. Calcination, what happens? Same thing. The combined form of metal we are going to heat. We know its melting point, but with a limited supply of air. With the limited air. That is the difference between roasting and the calcination. Take down roasting, students. The process of heating the ore below its melting point with excess of air. With excess of air is called roasting. Usually the sulfides we can convert into the metallic oxides with the help of roasting method. Okay, shall we finish that first? Right. Take the example of zinc sulfide. So this zinc sulfide, when it is heated in presence of excess of air nothing but the oxygen. When you are going to heat it in presence of excess of oxygen, you can convert it into zinc oxide with the liberation of sulfur dioxide. It has converted into zinc oxide. Okay, so that is roasting. Now what you have to do, that zinc oxide you have to take, again you have to convert it into zinc. That is the next step. First we will finish this and we will study. Okay, so zinc sulfide. Take down the equation. If it is not balanced, balance it. Two zinc, sulfur 2, 4 plus 2, 6, 3 2s are 6. Okay. Take one more example, students. That is lead sulfate, PBS. When it is heated with excess of air, what you are going to get? Lead oxide with the liberation of sulfur dioxide. 2 Pb, 3, 2, 2. 2 3s are 4 plus 2, 6, 3 2s are 6. Fine. Till then you can see. Okay, only 2 is not visible. Coming to the next one, that is calcination. For the calcination, which one will take? The carbonates we can convert into the form of oxides with the help of calcination. Take down the definition. What is calcination? The process of heating the ore below its melting point in the absence of air, or you can say limited supply of air. Take the example of zinc carbonate ZnCO3. So you are going to heat this. I am not going to write plus oxygen because this is absence or limited supply of the oxygen. So when you heat it, you are going to get zinc oxide with the liberation of carbon dioxide gas. Correct? Check the equation. If not balanced, you balance. One time I have shown you. Next one, lead carbonate. When it is heated, what you are going to get? Lead oxide plus carbon dioxide. Take down the equations, students. Now, after calcination and roasting, your metals are in the form of oxide, zinc oxide. Correct? So now what you have to do, take the zinc oxide, add some reducing agent like coke, nothing but carbon. So if you add some reducing agent, now what happens? You are going to get the zinc plus carbon monoxide. So at last what you got, students? Zinc. Zinc was, it may be in the form of sulfides or it may be in the form of carbonates. If it is in the form of sulfides, by providing excess of air, you are converting it to oxide form. If it is in a carbonate form, by supplying limited air, you are converting it into zinc oxide. So zinc oxide, next it is reduced with the carbon. Carbon is one of the reducing agent. So with the help of the reducing agent, you have reduced. You got the zinc plus carbon monoxide. So this is called as reducing reaction. Because you are reducing the oxygen from the zinc. So it is a reducing reaction, and coke or carbon is one of the reducing agent. Right, students? Take down. Okay. Students, every time we can't use carbon, coke, coal as a reducing agents for all types of metals. For the metals with a lower reactivity, if we want to remove from their compounds, sometimes we have to use the sodium, potassium, calcium, aluminium. We have to use, as these are highly reactive, to convert the metal oxides into metallic form. Sometimes we have to use the sodium, potassium, calcium, aluminium, etc. When you will use, depending upon the nature of the metal. Okay? Every time carbon you can't are highly reactive, you can take them to reduce the metal oxides to their metallic form. For this one example, students, MnO2, manganese dioxide, when it is treated with the aluminium, means here aluminium as one of the reducing agent. So aluminium, you are getting manganese plus Al2O3. You can say it as displacement reaction also, students. Al2O3 you are going to get with high liberation of a heat. Means these are exothermic reactions. Much heat energy you are going to get called as exothermic reaction. Check the equation, students. Is it balanced? 2 oxygen 3 2s are 6, 2 3s are 6, 2 2s are aluminium. So I have to make it here 4, 3 aluminium, 3 manganese, 3 manganese. Okay. So take down the equation, students. One more example. Iron oxide, Fe2O3, when it is reacted with the aluminium, you are going to get Fe, okay, with Al2O3 plus what? Very huge quantity of the heat will liberate out, right? Right. So, like this, we have to use aluminium, calcium, all these to reduce the metals from their oxide forms into the metallic form. And here, students, this I am talking, this iron, what you got now, huge amount of heat energy will liberate. So, these will be in the form of molten. Molten is liquid form. Molten state it will be. Okay. So these molten iron is used for different purposes. Purposes in the sense, the railway tracks will be there, no? To join the railway tracks. It may be to join the automobile repair parts. For all that, they will use this one, the machinery parts, railway tracks, because the iron is in a molten state that they will use. So this reaction is also called as thermic reaction. This is also called as the thermic reaction. Okay. So like this, you can extract the metals in the middle of the activity series. Take down the equations, students. Practice all these equations. And now the next one is extracting metals with a highly reactive. So shall we discuss it in the next class? Yes. Practice all these. Remaining we'll see in the next class. Right? Thank you.